This episode, we're headed to the majestic Rocky Mountain state of Wyoming to explore Grand Teton National Park. Back in 2023, I hit the road with my trusty RV Sheldon and my two hiking sidekicks, Molly and Baby Provolone. Because let's face it, everything's better when dogs are involved. So let's dive into one of America's most scenic parks with peaks, lakes, wildlife, and yes, trails that'll make you ache in places you forgot you had. The Teton Range is among the youngest mountain ranges in the Rockies, so while others are slowly eroding, these jagged peaks still look like they were just carved out yesterday. The park got its name, Grand Teton, from 1800s French Canadian trappers who thought the three major peaks looked like breasts. The iconic peak Grand Teton translates to the Big Teat, and what a big teat it is. She rises to about 13,770 feet, towering over the valley floor by nearly 7,000 feet. Native people have lived in the Jackson Hole Valley area in Wyoming for over 11,000 years. The park is rich in human history as well as geological history. Grand Teton was initially created through the efforts of philanthropist John D. Rockefeller Jr. Today's official Grand Teton National Park was established by combining a monument and surrounding land in 1950. It's just south of the extremely well-known Yellowstone National Park and oftentimes gets overshadowed by it. June and July are the busiest months with about 3/4 million visitors each. I know that's when weather is great and people are usually taking their vacations, yet I'd suggest the shoulder months of April, May, and August, September. The weather's still great, there are fewer crowds, and in the spring, wildlife are becoming active again, while in the late summer, they're out prepping for the fall and winter. Now, the private vehicle fee to enter the park is $35, unless, of course, you have your America the Beautiful pass. That's $80 for 12 months of unlimited national park visits. We spent 3 days in Grand Teton National Park, which I think is a great amount of time for some moderate hiking and seeing the major sights. If you only had one day, you can still drive the scenic loop, see wildlife, and get a hike in. Now, for those of you looking to do some backcountry exploring, boating, horseback riding, and or really just taking advantage of the 135 trails in the park, I'd recommend 3 to 5 days. And of course, pair this with a visit to Yellowstone just to the north. It's a great way to hit both in one trip since they're pretty remote. So let's talk about 6 things you've absolutely got to do when you visit Grand Teton National Park. Whether you're a photo junkie, a hiker, or someone who just wants to stare at mountains and say, yeah, this'll do, I've got you covered. Number one is the Jenny Lake Scenic Area. This is one of the crown jewels of Grand Teton. You can take the boat shuttle across Jenny Lake, you can hike up to Hidden Falls, or just chill out lakeside while the Tetons perfectly reflect in the water like nature's own Instagram filter. If you're feeling adventurous, rent a kayak or canoe and paddle out onto that glacial blue goodness. Fair warning though, that water's cold enough to wake up your soul and your ancestors. Site number two is Mormon Row Historic District. You've probably seen it 1,000 times on postcards. Those iconic barns with the Tetons towering behind them. That's Mormon Row, where 19th century homesteaders built their lives long before social media made it trendy to live off grid. It's the perfect spot to learn a little bit of history and snag a photo that'll make everyone back home jealous. Number three, Oxbow Bend. If you're a morning person, or even if you're not, set that alarm. Oxbow Bend is one of the park's best sunrise spots where the first light hits Mount Moran and the reflection in the Snake River looks straight up magical. Bring your camera, your coffee, and your quiet voice. The wildlife and photographers will thank you. Now, you can't visit Grand Teton and not look for wildlife. Drive the Moose Wilson Road with your eyes peeled for moose, elk, bears, and maybe even a beaver or two doing their thing. Just remember, this is viewing, not meeting. Keep that safe distance and let your zoom lens do the work, not your legs. Then, when you want that jaw-dropping 360-degree view, drive up Signal Mountain. You'll see Jackson Lake, the Snake River, and the full Teton Range stretching out like a postcard come to life. It's the perfect spot to stop, breathe in that mountain air, and wonder if you can just move here permanently. And last and not least, for my Yellowstone cowboys and cowgirls at heart, saddle up. Horseback riding in Grand Teton is one of the most classic ways to explore the park. You'll find outfitters offering guided rides through meadows, forests, and right at the base of the peaks. It's peaceful, scenic, and gives you that main character in a Western feeling without actually having to lasso anything. Of course, no trip to Grand Teton National Park is complete without lacing up your hiking boots. The trails here aren't just a walk in the woods, they're front row seats to some of the most jaw dropping scenery out west. Whether you want a chill lakeside stroll or a climb that makes your calves cry, there's a trail for everyone. In fact, there are 135 trails in the park totaling over 200 miles. So, first stop is Taggart Lake Loop. This loop is a charming choice for early adventure seekers. It's about 3.3 miles round trip with only about 300 feet of elevation gain. You'll wind through aspen groves and cross little footbridges, all capped off with sweeping Grand Teton views reflected in the lake. It's perfect for a relaxed morning hike, a photo op, or just a nature reset with minimal effort. Then stretch your legs with Lee Lake Trail. It's roughly 7.2 miles out and back and considered easy, yet it's long enough to make you feel like you earned it. You'll hike along flat forested shorelines beside String Lake into Lee Lake, where the water mirrors the peak so perfectly you'll double check your camera settings. Less crowded than some of the other major hotspots, you'll also find more quiet moments and maybe a picnic or a paddle stop. My favorite part of the park was the Jenny Lake Trail and also seeing Hidden Falls and Inspiration Point. This classic hike delivers the signature Teton scenery. You start off with either a boat shuttle across Jenny Lake, or since I went so late in the season and that was closed, I got to hike around the lake, and then climb towards the Hidden Falls and up to Inspiration Point for jaw-dropping outlooks. The total length sits right around 6.5 miles if you do the full loop, and the moderate terrain makes it accessible yet rewarding. Expect the forest, the lake, the waterfalls, and those unmistakable sharp peaks of the range. It's your I'm definitely in the Tetons moment. When I did my hike that October, several people ahead of me on the trail said that they saw a bear. I didn't get to see her this time, and it's definitely one of those great wildlife viewing spots. Now, venture deeper with the scenic Cascade Canyon Trail hike. It's about 9 miles round trip to the forks of the Cascade with around 1,000+ foot elevation gain. You'll follow Jenny Lake, past the boat dock if you took that option, go through granite walls, maybe spot some marmots and some pika, and arrive at the dramatic canyon opening that feels like nature just rolled out the red carpet. It's a longer day, but one where the payoff is the kind of scenery you tell your friends about. Then there's Delta Lake or Paintbrush Canyon Loop. Save this one for when you're ready to earn it. The Delta Lake hike via Lupine Meadows is roughly 8 miles round trip, or longer if you extend it, with steep elevation gain, a rock field scramble, and serious wow scenery. The Paintbrush Cascade Loop is even tougher at 18 miles for those ultra hikers. Either way, this trail doesn't just show you the Tetons, it puts you smack in the heart of them, brings stamina and layers. Last and not least for my trails I suggest is Coulter Bay Lakeshore Trail. This is my second favorite in the park. It's one of those low effort, high reward hikes that everyone loves. It's a mellow 2 mile loop that hugs the shoreline of Jackson Lake, with the Tetons showing off in the background like they know they're being photographed. Along the way, you'll wander through pine forests, spot driftwood along a shore, and maybe even catch a glimpse of an osprey or two. It's the perfect trail for when you want big views without needing to earn them with a lung-busting climb. So by now you believe that this really isn't just a day trip. So where can you stay besides all the way out of the park in Jackson Hole? My first night in the park was at the Gros Ventre campground. It's one of 6 campgrounds inside the park. It's one of the 5 that allow RVs as well as tents. Jenny Lake Campground is tent only for hikers and bikers. Coulter Bay and Headwaters campgrounds also have cabins in addition to the tent and RV sites. Now, I arrived at Grand Teton National Park on Columbus Day, so it was the last night of the season before a lot of the park's amenities closed for the winter. Camping tip: book early, parks fill up fast, and check the season end dates. The Gros Ventre campground is the southernmost one in the park, and it's a good drive away from most of the fun activities. Had I booked earlier, I probably would have been able to stay at a campground further into the park. Now, like I said, the park campgrounds were closed my final 2 nights there. So we stayed in the Virginian RV Park in Jackson, Wyoming, just south of Grand Teton. It was convenient, had full hookups, and let us explore the town and unwind after a full day of trails. Pro tip, staying inside the park is magical, waking up surrounded by mountains, but staying just outside gives you flexibility, amenities, and maybe fewer logistical hassles. Some other accommodations include Jackson Lake Lodge. It's perched on a terrace overlooking Jackson Lake and the Tetons. This full service resort features 385 rooms, cottages, and suites, all with dramatic mountain views. It includes multiple on site restaurants, a lounge, gift shops, and a seasonal heated outdoor pool. Built in the 1950s and now a National Historic Landmark, it blends classic mid century design with modern amenities. Typical room rates start at $268 per night. Now, located on the shores of Jackson Lake is Signal Mountain Lodge, which offers rustic cabins, bungalows, and motel-style rooms, many with private porches and lake or mountain views. The property includes a marina, boat rentals, guided fishing trips, and a couple of restaurants and coin-operated laundry and showers for campers. Starting rates for cabins are roughly $350 to $400 a night, which is worth it to some for the central location in the park and shorter drive times to major trailheads and lookouts. Then there's Jenny Lake Lodge. This upscale lodge is one of the most intimate stays in the park, offering duplex or freestanding log cabins with handcrafted quilts, down comforters, and private baths, yet notably no TVs in the rooms. Guests receive full-service breakfasts and five-course dinners and can partake in mountain bike rentals, horseback rides, or lawn games. Because of its premium service and rustic luxury, rates often run well above $1,000 per night. It's ideal for those seeking a high-end immersive park experience. Now, are you looking for something a little bit more rustic? Triangle X Ranch is the only guest ranch located within the national park boundaries. This authentic dude ranch experience offers private log cabins and porches with Teton views. All-inclusive packages typically include horseback riding, 3 meals a day, fishing, rafting, or winter snowshoeing depending on the season. The experience is solidly mid to upper price tier, reflecting the full program of activities and meals. Built on tradition and scenic value, it's a great choice for families or groups seeking a Western-style stay inside the park. So here's some tips for when you get ready to visit Grand Teton National Park. Number 1, start your hike early. Those morning hours bring soft light, quiet trails, and yes, moose sightings before brunch. 2, this is grizzly bear country. Carry bear spray at all times and hike in groups if possible. There have only been 6 reported bear attacks inside the park. Please don't be number 7. Number 3, elevation matters. Even moderate trails feel harder up here because you're already at altitude. Drink water, take breaks, and give yourself grace. Number 4, please drive the speed limit and look out for wildlife. The park averages 75 to 100 animal collisions per year, including grizzly 399 and grizzly 1058 in the last few months. And number 5, part of the park is dog friendly. However, dogs are not allowed on any trails, beaches, or in any buildings. In the winter, dogs are allowed to snowshoe or cross-country ski on the unplowed sections of Teton Park and Moose Wilson roads. I talk all about traveling with your pets in episode 5 of the podcast. And don't forget to hit subscribe so that you can follow along and dream big for your journeys on the Great Escape. See you next time, adventurers.